It was a dark and stormy night, the kind of night that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest of souls. But for Anna, it was just another night at work. She had taken a job as a night shift security guard at an old, abandoned hospital on the outskirts of town. It was a job that paid well, but it also came with its own set of challenges. The hospital was said to be haunted by the ghosts of patients who had died there, and although Anna didn't believe in ghosts, she couldn't deny the eerie feeling she got whenever she walked through its halls. As she made her rounds, checking the doors and windows to make sure they were locked, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. It was a feeling she had experienced before, but never as strongly as she was feeling it now. She brushed it off as her imagination, and continued on with her work. But as the night wore on, the feeling grew stronger and more oppressive. Anna couldn't explain it, but she felt as though there was something or someone following her, just out of sight. She tried to shake off the feeling, telling herself that it was just her nerves getting the best of her. But then, she heard it. A faint whispering sound, like the rustling of papers. It was coming from one of the patient rooms on the third floor. Anna hesitated for a moment, her hand hovering over the door handle. She knew she should investigate, but the feeling of dread that had settled over her was almost too much to bear. Slowly, she pushed open the door, her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. At first, she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. The room was empty, save for a few pieces of furniture and a rusted old wheelchair in the corner. But then, she saw it. A faint, ghostly figure standing in the center of the room. At first, Anna thought it was just her imagination, but as the figure grew more distinct, she realized that it was a ghost. She couldn't make out its features, but it was wearing a hospital gown, and its eyes were dark and empty. Anna tried to back away, but her feet seemed rooted to the ground. She was trapped, with the ghostly figure advancing towards her with each passing second. She could feel the cold, clammy breath of the ghost on her face, and she knew that she was in mortal danger. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and the ghostly figure vanished. Anna turned, her heart pounding in her chest, to see the figure of an old man standing in the doorway. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice soft and kind. Anna nodded, her eyes wide with fear. "What was that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The old man smiled sadly. "That was the ghost of a patient who died here a long time ago. He's been haunting these halls ever since." Anna shook her head, trying to make sense of what she had just seen. "Why is he here?" she asked. The old man shrugged. "I think he's just lost, unable to move on from this world. But sometimes, he gets angry and lashes out at anyone who comes near him." Anna felt a chill run down her spine. "What can I do?" she asked. The old man smiled kindly. "There's nothing you can do, my dear. Just try to avoid him, and stay away from the third floor. That's where he likes to linger." Anna nodded, and the old man disappeared as quickly as he had appeared. She stood there for a moment, trying to collect her thoughts. She knew she couldn't stay in the hospital for the rest of the night, but she also couldn't leave her post unguarded. She decided to call her supervisor, hoping that he would understand her situation. As she waited for him to pick up the phone, Anna heard the whispering sound again. This time, it was coming from the hallway. She cautiously stepped out of the room, her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. She could see the faint outline of the ghostly figure, hovering just out of reach. Anna tried to stay calm, but her heart was racing with fear. She knew she needed to get out of the hospital as soon as possible, but she also knew that she couldn't leave her post. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves, and continued down the hallway. As she approached the stairwell, the ghostly figure moved closer. Anna could feel its cold breath on her neck, and she knew that she was in real danger. She tried to run, but her legs felt like they were made of lead. The ghostly figure was right behind her, and she knew that she was about to be trapped. Suddenly, there was a loud crash, and the ghostly figure disappeared. Anna turned to see her supervisor, who had broken down the door to the hospital with a sledgehammer. "Are you all right?" he asked, concern etched on his face. Anna nodded, feeling weak with relief. "I saw a ghost," she said, her voice shaking. Her supervisor looked at her skeptically. "A ghost? Are you sure?" Anna nodded, her eyes wide with fear. "I saw it, I swear. It was in one of the patient rooms on the third floor." Her supervisor frowned, deep in thought. "Well, we'll have to investigate this further. For now, you're free to go home. We'll have someone else take over for the rest of the night." Anna breathed a sigh of relief, and quickly gathered her things. As she stepped out into the stormy night, she knew that she would never forget the terrifying encounter she had just had. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew that she would always remember the ghostly figure that haunted the old, abandoned hospital on the outskirts of town.